Some users are having issues rendering and tracking with motion vectors, so let's take a look at all the places where it could go wrong. First, you have to make sure that when you're rendering, your project is set to 32-bit mode, the working space is set to none, and all the defaults in After Effects are set like this. I'm not saying it can't work in these other modes, it's just that we've never tested outside of there. I'm going to apply the extremely accurate vectors using full vector setup. And before you render, go into this comp, and if you see something that looks like this is a problem. Notice how everything is very white. The vector should basically be a flat gray, like very, very close to 50%. And one of the issues we're getting with a lot of users is their background color is set to white, or it's set to some other color, and it just needs to be set to black. Maybe in the future we can do a script setup to make that work better. So then before you render, another thing you should do is throw an adjustment layer on, and use levels, and actually I'll just make this a guide layer. You can't render with any of these changes or everything is going to go crazy. I'll set this to 0.499 and 1 minus 0.499. And that's going to show you some detail in these motion vectors that should look sort of like the shape of whatever you're tracking. The first frame is going to be black, and the last frame might look totally weird, but the first frame is expected to be black. So anyway, if it passes that test, you can delete that and render. So that's done. Moving back to my main comp. The most important thing that most people are forgetting is when this comes in, right-click it, interpret the footage, go to Main, Color Management, Preserve RGB. And now let's see if this works. Another issue that some users are running into is when they do the full vector setup, they didn't do the pre-compose, and they have footage that's in a composition that's not the same frame rate and resolution, or maybe their scale is not at 100%, or the footage is off-center or something. So that's the main reason for this pre-compose. But for the most part, those are the issues that users are running into. We also found one really strange issue where when the user tries to track from the exact last frame, if there's a drop frame or some weird frame rate inconsistency or variable frame rate in the file, we haven't quite figured out what's going on yet. It won't track. So please try to track from a frame somewhere in the middle of the sequence if you're having any issues, and that will help us narrow down what could be happening. Thanks for watching. If you have a problem, just send in a help ticket and send me a project file. I'm sure we can figure it out.